and welcome to this week's vlog and this reading debut. I am now halfway through Love on the Brain, and it is so super cute. Oh my gosh. So B, who's a scientist, who's kind of, she's kind of more on the simpler side of things, and she does have like a good healthy relationship with like all her friends, which I think is like really cute and really good. And what I find is that so like a lot of some of her equipment and some things are gone missing and things are going astray, but nobody's really listening to her. But her friends are trying to help her out whatever they can, and just like love theoretically. So this one's more because it's the brain related, that instead of being like hypothesis, I'm gonna go to a beginning of a chapter so I can show you. So it'll say like a part of the brain, like the inglia grias, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, and it'll be like pay attention. So it'll be like another one would be Herschel's Grias here. So it's just like different parts of the brain and like what it kind of does, and it's like the theme for the chapter, which I think is very super cute and I like it. Yeah, so that's just kind of like the, well, I just like that like little added bonus and cutesiness to it, right? And B is just, I don't want to say like she's naive, but, she's still discovering the ways of the world, I guess. Still a thumbs up? Loving it? Alright, bye! Why, hello and welcome to this reading debut. So I've now finished reading Love on the Brain, and it was so super cute. We have Dr. Bree, who falls in love with her coworker, or her coworker, Levi, and they have a little bit of a situationship going on. She isn't sure what's going on, but Bree does model her life after Marie Curie, and she wants to be able to, she'd always ask herself, what would Dr. Curie do, right? And she knows that life isn't what, it used to be, or in that she needs to go with the punches, and that I like how she's like nerdy, and you can tell by the cover that alright, and so as you can see, she has purple hair, she has tried orange hair, she's always like go with the flow kind of girl, and changes up her hair, but the purple, it is rather nice and does suit her, and I think it's just super cute, and her relationship with Levi, and how she doesn't want to get interfered, and how you can really tell that she's made to be a scientist, and one of the reasons why she works with NASA is because she does like space, and big Star Wars fan, I can tell, and what she likes the Empire Strikes Back, which is like the worst Star Wars movie ever. Oh my gosh, just joking. Alright, but this is a library book, so I'm happy that I finished it because it is due this week, so get to finish that. But next I'm going to be reading Loathe to Love You, so that'll be interesting, because it'll be a enemies to lovers kind of story, right? But anyways, that's just kind of it. Thumbs up. Hope you guys have a great and wonderful day. Enjoy the sunshine. Alright, bye! Hello and welcome to this reading debut. I have now finished reading Loathe to Love You. It is actually, I read it in a day, and it's actually 3 novellas in the, I think what she called it is this STEMist like collection, which is like kind of like all her books so far that I've read have been in this like STEM research. So the first story was called like Under One Roof, which is about Liam and Mara, and how like they hate each other. Well, Mara hates Liam, and Liam is just this passive aggressive looking kind of playboy. But then after being in one roof for so long, Mara caves, and they end up like getting together at the end of the day. And then the second story is Stuck With You, which is Eric and Sadie, and they end up like they work at the same building, and Eric will do anything he can to take the same elevator ride as Sadie, and Sadie is like hates him and just like hates the kind of guy that he is, but eventually he swoons her into like being in a relationship together, and they end up having a great time. And the last novella is Below Zero, which is about Ian and Hannah. So Hannah, they both work for NASA, and they end up meeting each other like 5 years ago, having a really great relationship. And then he kind of gives her the cold shoulder after they get together. Jump forward to the present, and that Hannah has this like research project where she is trying to put a rover on Mars, and it's, you know, like higher stakes, high rewards, and Ian is trying to do everything that he can to make it stop. But then you flash forward until 9 months, and it's actually, they end up putting a rover on Mars, and it's just the kiss between them ends up being on the front page of the New York Times, and it's so cute. And then there is an exclusive bonus chapter, which is from like the men's perspective of what happened. And so we have Mira and Liam, and they are expecting the baby, and so they're married, and Eric and Sadie are married, but Ian and Hannah are not married, but you know, they're probably going to get married here on soon. And it's just a quick little like adage about kind of like in the future of like how, you know, we got a little novella about the woman's perspective, and then now we have the men's perspective. And by far, out of all the Ali Hazelwood books that I have read, this one has to be my favorite. And it's not just because it's like little short stories, but it's just about like the futuristic of like women in science. And I kind of like that. So I think next I'm going to read Check and Meet, and then I'll read Bride, because I want to stick with the adult fiction and then go to the junior fiction with Bride. But yeah, I think, you know, I think out of all of them, I'm going to like Check and Meet the most, but Loath to Love You, spot on. The last story is 5 out of 5 stars for me. Loved it. All right, bye. Bye, hello, and welcome to this reading debate. So I am now about halfway through Check and Mate, and oh my gosh, this is so different than a lot of the other books that Ali Hazelwood has written, or so that I've read. And it's about this young girl named Mallory, who is a chess, say chess magnet, but she's not. She's just a kind of like a savant when it comes to chess, and she's in this competition, and where she meets Nolan, and Nolan is the best of the best when it comes to chess, and she kind of hates him, not because he's just so good at chess, but like he knows he's the best and he knows what he's doing, and he is like her biggest rivalry, so she hates him, but he's kind of like impartial to her. There really hasn't been too many spicy scenes yet, and it's just about how, like, the part where I left off is that it's not the competition, but they're playing Skittles, which is basically chess, but there's like no competition to it, like there's no clocks to it. It's just where you can go and practice your gameplay, and you can just, you know, like the pressure's off and you can just play chess. So like I think that's pretty cute. There's like no school involved or anything like that. It's just about these kids who are playing chess. And it's just, I don't know, I can't remember how old they are, but I want to say they're kind of like later teens, I guess, and they're just like in this championship to win. And just that Mallory doesn't really like Nolan, and she's like the only girl surrounded by all these guys who play chess. And I know that that's kind of, I mean, I don't know a lot of girls who play chess myself, so maybe it's just kind of playing on that, but so far so good, and I'm really liking it, and I really like the departure from the kind of academic setting, and I'm really enjoying it. Right now, it's kind of like it's in the middle of the road, 3 out of 5, and can't wait to see what the other half of the book brings. Alright, bye! Hello and welcome to this reading debate. So I've now finished Check and Mate. Oh my gosh, it's so cute, just the dynamic between Mallory and Nolan. So it takes place during this chess tournament where Mallory is 18 and Nolan is 20, and that so Nolan's number 1 in the chess community, everybody knows him, and where Mallory's like is the only woman to be in this like chess tournament or this championship, and she's like ranked like 1,800 and something, and nobody knows who she is, and that it's kind of speculated that the only reason why she's there, because she does have such a high rank, is not just because she's a woman, but because Nolan has played her before and kind of wants her to be there. But you know, against all odds, and so because it's a world like national championship of chess, of all things, that the championship is now being held in Venice, Italy, and surprise, surprise, Mallory and Nolan are playing against each other, and so then it just kind of ends there. But then epilogue, then it's 2 years later, so they're 20 and 22 respectively, that you find out that Mallory beat Nolan in that championship, and now there's like another championship because it happens every 2 years, and they're playing against each other again. But in one of the games, Nolan beats Mallory, and it's just so super cute. And there's all this speculation of how like they're together, which they are, but they're not telling the public about it because they're not married, or not because they're not married, because like, you know, your private life's private, and that it's nobody's business and about it. And that in 2 years, Mallory went from being ranked like 1,800 and something to being ranked number 5, and of course Nolan's still number 1, right? But the only way for Mallory to get down to being, say, number 2 is just to continue with these championships and to win. So I would say that like this is kind of like my favorite, other than the 3 novellas that she's written. I think Chicken Maid is a kind of my favorite of Ali Hazelwood so far, just because like it's just not so much an academic setting. Like, yes, like I'm not into chess, like I don't know how to play it, but it's just kind of like a nice, easy kind of rom-com kind of book, right? And I just think it's just really cute. I really liked it. Yeah, so I think I would give it like, you know, kind of like a 4 out of 4, right? And kind of like if I was just rating Ali Hazelwood books, I'd say it's 5 out of 5 just for her. All right, I thought it was pretty good. I would recommend. And so now, because it's the only one I have left, I'm going to be reading Bride, and from what I understand, this is kind of like a teen romance versus like, you know, all her other ones have been adult romance. So, yeah. All right, bye. All right, hello, and welcome to this reading dip. I do got another library haul. So I said no more graphic novels or no borrowing books from the library because of all these books, but I couldn't help myself. This Big Apple Diaries junior graphic novel came back in, and I wanted to read it, so I figured now's the time. And then The Keepers of the Lost Cities is another junior fiction book series, and this is the graphic novel, so I figured, much like The Spy School, really good, that I read last week, figured this would be a good way into the series just to see. And then somebody that I know, or not, I don't know, on YouTube, they reviewed this, and they said it was like really, really good, and it's a thriller, so I decided, why not give it a go? So I figured that that'd be great. And then with Bride, by Ali Hazelwood, and then plus 3 books, that will be 150 books, and so therefore I can say that I've read 150 books in the first 6 months of the year, so there's that. It was easy peasy lemon squeezy to get that far so soon. So, yay! Alright, bye! Hello, and welcome to this reading dip. So, I have finished Big Apple Diaries, and it starts from September 2000 and goes to, I think, this September as well, or like January of 2002. So in it you do get to experience like the loss of like the Twin Towers, but it's just really fun and cute, like about how just growing up in the big city and the kind of independence you get, and just being, you know, just being a child who her parents love and adore, and just, you know, and how great it is and how you can do whatever it is that you want to be doing. I don't know. I thought I was making 3 out of 5. Well, actually 4 out of 5. I'm happy that I picked it up, and I really do kind of like the format that it's in. This kind of like graphic novel and like messaging service, because you know, cell phones weren't, instead of texting, we had instant messenger, right? And then I've also finished Keeper of the Lost Cities. And so Sophie, who has the ability to read minds, or not read minds, hears people's thoughts, and she's like a big secret that she keeps from everybody. She meets this guy named Fitz, who introduces her to the fact that this is who can hear people's thoughts as well, and he takes her to this place where she can use her ability to its full capabilities, and she's training to help, you know, the lost cities of the world, of the galaxy, and she's helping them, keeping it, they're in check, so that way all, every animal and everything has a chance to, you know, survive and everything. And I really like this one a lot, 4 out of 5, but I think I would like the books more so than the graphic novel. I'm happy that I read it, but, you know, in the future, I might consider picking up a book, right? But that's it. 2 graphic novels out of the way. Yay. Alright, bye! Hello and welcome to this reading Dippet. So, I've started reading Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and it's so far so good. So we know that it follows this vampire named Misery, because, you know, of course, and that she's going to get married, and it kind of jumps between the past and the present, where you have werewolves, humans, and vampires, and it really does kind of has its own set of rules when it comes to vampires. And for example, they don't need to be invited or welcome into rooms, and they don't really suck blood from humans, because that's kind of weird and gross, and why would they go through the effort of doing that when blood banks are right there, you know? And that they're not really afraid of garlic, because they don't really eat, so like why would they specifically be afraid of one type of food? So I'm about like 80 pages in, so far so good, and we're just still getting to know like the environment, the kind of the rules, and that Misery, which is a bride, and she just has to get married, right? Or she's gonna be a bride. So it's just kind of very interesting, right? I think it's gonna be pretty good. You know, can't wait to continue. All right, bye. Hello and welcome to this reading Dippet. So I have a little under 100 pages left to read of this book, and I thought I'd give you a bit of an update. It is about, you know, as I was saying before, Lowen is a werewolf, but this book is mainly about his relationship and the main character, who is Misery, who's a vampire. And they are going to get married by the end of the book, I am pretty sure. So right now it's just like about their relationship and just like the differences about like, you know, werewolves or weres and vampires. And, you know, that vampires are just kind of like unique. And one of the unique things that I liked about it is that the reasoning, like why that vampires don't drink from humans, that the point was made that was just, you know, that there was such an attraction or sexual attraction to feeding off humans that they had to stop. That there was just no difference between lust and food, that they just had to differentiate. So it's the kind of thing where like you can love somebody and you can have sex with them, but you cannot feed off of them. Otherwise, kind of like these weird lines get crossed and you just don't know where to separate. And that you could like love somebody so much that you feed off them without even realizing you could like drain them for all their blood, you know, that without even realizing you just love them so much you drain them, and then what are you going to do? And it's like you killed somebody all because you were feeding off them, kind of a thing, right? Which is you know, good to know. But I just like the middle section of the book, because of where Loman and Misery were talking. They were just talking a lot about sex. Like they weren't necessarily having it. It was just these like really weird, long, drawn out conversations about it. Extremely angsty. Very angsty. And I was just, I don't know, not really for me. right? But so far so good. I'm really liking it, and I think I just like Ali Hazelwood as a YA author and not as like an adult fiction author, which is kind of weird because Check and Mate and Bride are pretty good. I'm really liking it, right? And I do like her version of vampires. I must say it's rather pleasing. Alright, thumbs up. Alright, bye. Hello, and welcome to this reading dippet. So, I have just finished reading Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and oh my gosh, it's so great. Alright, I would highly recommend it. It was just the difference between, in her world, vampires are just very different, and that Misery's a vampire and Lo is a werewolf. And for the last update I gave you, so because they're getting married, they Misery ends up spending a week in the pack, right, just to get to see where or how he lives and what pack life is really all about. And it's just it's something that she's never experienced before, and she has a friend named Celina who is half human, half werewolf, and that Celina is just really angsty, and she doesn't fit in the human world, and she doesn't really fit in with the pack, with the other weres, right? But she has to live with the werewolves, right? So there isn't like a wedding in the book, right? But the Misery and Lo are gonna get married, and it's so super cute. I really like it. The angst between them are just chef's kiss, I guess, right? It was just very lovely. I enjoyed it, and it was a great way to spend like a rainy kind of overcast kind of day, especially evening. I'm happy I read it. And so this I've now read all of Ali Hazelwood's books, or not all of them, but all the ones I'm actually interested in reading. I'm happy that I read this one, and I'm happy that I'm done all the Ali Hazelwood books, and I can say which ones I liked and which I didn't. And I can say that I prefer Ali Hazelwood's young adult books like Check and Mate and Bride. I would like to say that Bride's kind of my favorite out of all of them, just because I like the difference between just like how she wrote werewolves and vampires. Just her version of vampires was just really great, and I liked how like they could get married in this world and it wasn't too big of a deal at all. And yeah, and that and just I think I liked how she wrote the angst, just the teenage angst, or just angst between people, more so than anything else. I really enjoyed it. Out of all of Ali Hazelwood's books, I would say this is like a 5 out of 5, but I think 4 out of 5 just in general. I would rate this book. Alright, so it's definitely a thumbs up. I am going to take a bit of a break this evening. I'm going to watch a movie, but the next book I am going to read is Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough, and that we're going to go from there. Alright, thumbs up. Alright, bye! Hello and welcome to this reading tidbit. So I've started reading Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. The first 100 pages wrote relatively quickly, and so it jumps back between then and now, and between the perspectives of two friends, Louise and Adele. And so Louise is married to Rob, and they have a son named Adam, and Adele, she is married to David. Right? And so I just find it to be kind of interesting. Now, there is a quote at the beginning of the book by Benjamin Franklin that says, "Three can keep a secret if two are dead." So I think that that could be quite telling of something. We're mainly following Louisa's perspective, so I feel like that, that's going to be like the main thing, and that how she's kind of an aloof character, right? And and she just, I don't know, just kind of like more of an aloof character, and I guess like Adele's also in her own little world. So I'm just Behind Her Eyes, like, Like, this is just quite interesting. I'm not sure what to make of it. There's the book's divided into 3 parts, and I've just started part 2. So I'm gonna call it a night for reading, because I've read a lot today, and I'm gonna continue this book tomorrow. And you know, just thrillers or mysteries are always great, and I think one of my favorite things about them is that the books do relatively go really quickly, and part of it is that the chapters are really small. So my goal is that to finish this book for this week's vlog, and so you know, if I read 100 pages today, 100 pages tomorrow, and 100 pages on Sunday, and then I can edit the vlog and put it up. And so that would also mean that I've read 11 books this week, and I read 150 books within the first 6 months of the year. Woohoo! Yeah. And then so I guess the start of next week's vlog is going to be pick my the rest of the books I'm going to read, because I no longer have a pile of books to choose from on the foreground, just my shelf. So that's going to be exciting. Oh no, gosh, I say that as if I don't know already what I'm going to read. I feel like I should read the other 2 Crazy Rich Asian book series by Kevin Kwong, like the other 2 in the series, because I've read the first one. But I don't know. I don't want to put any pressure on myself. Gotta choose, gotta do what you gotta do, right? But thumbs up, loving Behind Her Eyes. And I'm kind of excited because I've read a lot of romance this week, and sometimes you gotta mix it up. Alright, bye! Alright, so I've just finished reading Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough, and oh my gosh, it was very twisty, and it took a lot of different turns than what I didn't think. You're really following like these 2 different perspectives, Adele and Louisa, and their husbands and their lives, and you know, like as they're going through and how they're kind of best friends, but like you never see like Adele and Louisa in the same place, right? Like you never really, you know, it's kind of, things are just like they're just like waiting for each other to kind of show up, or that she had just dropped it off at my house, or she gave it to me, or kind of a thing. And so it's just Adele's parents died when she was a kid, or when they were in university. And it's just kind of the idea of, where is this going to be? Or like, just kind of like, did Adele do it? Did she light the fire that her parents died in? What did she do? But you never really fully find out like what happened and the cause of the fire and whatnot, and not until like the very end. And who really done it, the truth, if like Adele just kind of set the fire, if like her boyfriend, now husband, robbed it in, or what. And I'm not gonna give away the ending, but damn, it took so many twists and turns that I didn't even think it was going to be like that, right? And it's just, you know, you get to really know behind her eyes and what it really means, right? Oh my gosh. Wow. I am struck with this one. I think this is going to stay with me a while. Alright. Definitely page turner. I'm glad I read it. 5 out of 5 stars on this one. Good. Good thriller. Great way to end off the week. Alright. Bye. Hello, and welcome to this reading dip / the end of this vlog. As you can see, I have a clear table of all my books. Nice feeling. I'm going to enjoy it for a little bit longer. But the thing is that I don't know what books I'm going to be reading next. I'm thinking or leaning towards more of The Librarianist by Patrick DeWitt, but I'm not too sure. But I guess like the start of next week's vlog is potentially me picking out my TBR or the next book I'm going to read, because this is going to be exciting. Yeah. This is kind of it. Hopefully everybody had a really great week. Today is a very nice sunshiny day compared to the gloomy days and the rain that we've had the last couple of days, but that has made it super nice to sit inside and read, which is fantastic. But anyways, this is it. Right? This is it for me.